Which of these pageants had the best production in 2021? The nominees are Miss Universe 2021, Miss Grand International 2021, Miss Supranational 2021, Miss Earth 2021, which was a virtual pageant, Miss Intercontinental 2021, and the Miss Globe 2021. So those are the nominees for this category. Who wants to go first? Summer. What is your pick? Which pageant?
Rafa, I've got so much things.
Come on. I'm sure you
do it. Oh God, I want to hear
share
this.
some of your research, baby.
Okay. I'm reading still. Okay, Miss Globe. First, so Tito Rafa, is it possible for me to go through this first before I make my final decision?
That's fine. You know what? I think the rest of us really didn't do a lot of research compared to you.
Oh, don't say that.
Come on, Peter knows. Antonio maybe did. Honestly, I just like quickly reviewed some of these videos and I decided, okay, what? I think this one for me is the best. That's it. Okay.
Only because Tito Rafa, you've been doing this. Only because Tito Rafa, you've been doing this for ages, and I'm just, okay, a newbie.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Consider this whole chat as a learning process for you.
So production-wise, Miss Globe, it took ages before they announced the top 15. Otherwise, it was successfully produced. Mm-hmm. And Intercontinental, I like this pillar-like, how do you call this?
It's very Greek Roman.
Yeah, it reminds me of
it took place in Egypt. The ancient Roman ruins of Egypt. Yes.
The thing that stood in the middle of the stage that was unique this year.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And there were some technical problems. I think they were off air for a couple of hours, and I waited there for ages. Mm-hmm. That is it. So that's my Miss Globe and Intercontinental. And Miss Earth, kudos to Miss Earth. 2 years in a row. They had a successful virtual pageant. Mm-hmm. Supranational. Opening was very similar to Miss World, but with better choreography and better performers. Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad that they showcased their singers because Poland is known in Europe for their best singers, talents. They're one of the best singers in the world. I'm happy. I'm very happy with their staging. They're very organized, and believe it or not, Tito Rafa, they aired the program live to 90 countries around the world, and Gerhard, he's kind enough to take us at the backstage. To the backstage and gave us a little tour to show us around what's happening behind the scene.
Okay. All right. So you went.
Oh, I'm not finished yet. Sorry. I still have the Miss Grand International. Great production. They kept it moving. I love the setup during the preliminaries. Way better than the finals. Mm-hmm.
Really?
Really? That's interesting.
Nice.
The lightings were cleverly utilized. The show overall was outstanding, very well produced. It was my favorite until they muck around with the results. So they had to do that.
Yeah, so the results are a totally different category.
Big time. So, Miss Universe, last one. Okay, this is going to be a minute. Comparing to the last two editions, the Miss Universe stage looks like a bit aesthetically pleasing than the last two editions. Evening gown setup was my favorite.
Yes.
It was all tastefully done.
Yes.
It reminds me of the pageant in Moscow, the rustic feel, the ballroom concept.
Oh, yeah. With the big mirrors in the background.
That's right.
Yeah.
Performances was way better than the previous couple of years. However, what did I say here? The opening?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've mentioned that before, that I like I want the Miss Universe organization to bring back the fun.
Right,
Fun,
yeah.
the girls performing and all that, because I'm very old school. I want to bring remember the 1999, 2000, 2011.
You
Yeah.
you should write to the Miss Universe organization and tell
I
them
will,
exactly how you
Rafa,
feel.
don't you worry about that. And also,
I think
we already have an all-female judging. This is very important.
Mhm.
And so to have an almost all female performers was a bit too much for me. Okay. I enjoyed the three singers who performed Hallelujah, but I would have enjoyed it more if they performed that song during the best in evening gown competition.
Okay.
Personally, I would love to be serenaded by a male performer. I love the song. You see, it's like being in the church. The final look is meant to be fun, flirty, and sexy. So I enjoyed it when, in 2015, when Seal serenaded the girls. Leah.
Ooh,
That was good. I love that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was so sexy without being sexist. So overall,
Yes.
Israel as a host delivered very well. And one thing, announcement should be a lot clearer. Example, in NATCO, suddenly winners appears from nowhere.
So you're talking about the technical aspect.
The national, yes.
The bad camera angles. Yeah. A lot of people notice that too. Yeah.
So, okay. For
Good.
me, and probably because I was there, my best overall production goes to Supranational.
Okay.
Love it.
So, was the Miss Supranational crew very nice to you? Did they treat you nicely, kindly?
Yes.
Especially Andre Slay?
Gerard,
Gerhard. Okay.
yeah, very generous with his time. And Andre, they took us around.
Okay. But you told me you did end up judging the preliminary swimsuit competition, correct? Because they
the top model,
the top model
and
competition,
talent
because they
competition.
couldn't find enough judges, so it just happened that you were there. It just happened that you were there in the hallway. So Andre comes up to you and said, "Do you want to be a judge?" Okay.
It wasn't like the Tito Rafa.
Whatever.
Almost.
Okay, so I'm reading some of the comments. Okay, so this is very interesting. A question from Wiko Nugraha. Do you guys still consider Miss Supranational and Intercontinental as Grand Slam pageants? He says, I don't think so. I don't think they belong to Big Five pageant. Yeah, that's a good question, Wiko. And yeah, we've been asked that question many, many times. I'm going to go first. Okay. I don't think Miss Supranational and Miss Intercontinental pageant are Grand Slam pageants. However, as far as prestige and history goes, Miss Intercontinental supersedes Miss Supranational. Okay, the only reason that prevents me from calling Intercontinental as a Grand Slam pageant is because it has changed its hands so many times, different owners through the years, and all its different editions, and sometimes it's very, very confusing. And the current owner, the current director of Miss Intercontinental, he's a person of questionable character, so to speak. I to think of a better term, but other than that, I think Supranational, as far as winners are concerned, the super winners are far more beautiful and far more elegant and sophisticated compared to most of the Miss Intercontinental contestants. So, but at this point in time, neither pageant for me, I would consider it as a Grand Slam. So I don't know what the other you guys think. Peter, do you think both pageants are Grand Slam? No?
No, definitely not. definitely not. I think in with this particular discussion that we're having, it's the best and worst of pageant during 2021. It's not really necessarily about a Grand Slam pageant or not. It just so happened that it was just two of those pageants that we've decided to include because it was out there and it was widely publicized and a lot of people watched it. But I do not consider either one a Grand Slam pageant. Yeah, for many reasons. I think the other reason is the fact that even if you're a winner for either one of the pageants, you could still compete in other pageants, anyway. And I know with a lot of the other Grand Slam pageants, they don't allow you to do that.
Right.
So that's one of the main things that I don't think they could be considered a Grand Slam.
Okay. Antonio, do you agree?
No, to be honest, I actually consider Miss Supranational as a Grand Slam pageant. I love it, and I think that normally the franchises are recognize that, and they're sending like maybe sometimes the first, sometimes the second runner-up to the pageant. I really enjoy that. They have a great production and have been very consistent for the last, I think, 11, 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
I always like to see it's a big six, okay? A big six, the Universe, World, International, Earth, Grand, Supra, but always big two. I mean, that's like always say, top big six, but always the king of the king and the queen, Miss Universe and Miss World. Those are the two. I don't know how to. Yeah. I don't have a award for them, but those have the top of the top, and the other four they compete for the third place, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's a good assessment. All right, reading some of the comments. Good morning from Rafi Hamza from Kuala Lumpur. Good morning, everybody. How are you guys doing? Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you too, Rafi. Poi Poi says, Andre Slay was supposed to know how to slay Indonesian fans. Oh, I like that pun. Instead of fighting with them, love from Bangkok. Okay, Phil says, ha 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 ha. Yeah, that's so true. Okay. My choice for the best production is Miss Grand International 2021. Okay, everybody knows that. I think Nawat knows how to put on a good show. He has hired some of the best choreographers, the best background dancers. Everybody was just enjoying themselves. All of the girls were enjoying and having a good time, and I didn't sense that that atmosphere in Miss Universe or even with the other pageants. So for me, Miss Grand International 2021 was the best production. I mean, come on, we analyzed this before, okay? From the very beginning of the show, where the outgoing queen Abina Apia performed and danced, and everybody was amazing. All the girls, danced amazingly. So all that to me was very, very enjoyable to see. And when I watch pageants, I watch them first and foremost for its entertainment value. I was very highly entertained by what I saw in Miss Grand International 2021 production. So that's why I voted for Miss Grand as my best production. Antonio, what is your choice for the best production?
Vicente and you, Rafa. I think that Miss Grand International 2021 was the best production for sure. The girls enjoy it. It was so much fun to see it. The only issue for them is I think that they have to cut it a little bit. I hate when they don't have a specific time to finish a pageant. Mm-hmm. For me, it has to be 3 hours done. That's what makes, that has to be. I love because Miss Universe really respect that. They have a specific 3 hours and a very tight schedule. And I have to say kudos for Miss Earth, because even it was virtual pageant, the production was amazing for a virtual pageant. So kudos for that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's a good thing you mentioned Miss Earth, because I think as far as Miss Earth's production is concerned, is because given the fact it was virtual, they had all the time in the world to edit. You know what I mean? So if they saw something not good, they automatically edited it right away. And it took them, they had all the time in the world to edit whatever they had to do. So that's good. And you can't say the same thing, if it were a live telecast. Peter, darling, what is your best production?
Hi. Look, It was always going to be a top two for me, but when I rewatched everything this week, Summer has some major point, especially with the finals for Supra. I have always loved Supranational because it was the Eurovision of pageants. It was just cheesy, and it was so, it was unapologetically a pageant. It was hilarious. Now, for some reason, this year it was a little bit weird. The production was still great, but it was a little bit weird. It was a bit of a departure from what Supranational was known for.
Right.
But my winner, it was a very close one. It was going to be between Universe and Grand, but I chose Grand. Each one, of course, had their negatives. I think the only thing, and this is so nitpicking, I think with Grand, the focus was on the stage, on the girls the entire time, on the national directors. That was beautiful. Whereas with Miss Universe, that hole in the middle of the stage with those bloody fans were so freaking. Oh my God, distracting. And, yes, we all love it and we all go a little bit crazy when we go and attend these pageants, but having those people at that, what did they call it when you're at a concert and you've got those people down there at where the singer's going jump off and, the fans will catch
Right.
it. Yeah. I don't know if that's something that they really need. I mean, it's not the MTV Awards, for goodness sakes. So it was incredibly distracting. My focus and my attention was constantly drawn towards that group in the middle at that damn hole. And I'm
Right.
thinking, calm down. But, that's just nitpicking. I do, I love both. It was very, very close. I agree with Antonio. I think they could be a little bit sharper. That whole toasting with the champagne and everybody with their champagne glasses toasting Indonesia and it's like, oh God. Bleh. And Indonesia.
But wait a minute, that happened after the coronation. It didn't happen during the coronation because they were celebrating.
You know what? Regardless, the fact that they also announced a predominantly Muslim country and out comes the alcohol, I think that's a little bit tone deaf. But then again, I don't think Nawat's actually known for being a sensitive and worldly person anyway.
Yeah,
So I
just like
found
Julie
it
Morley.
right. Look, I found it really, really weird. But production-wise, you cannot fault Grand at all. But I agree with Antonio. It could be a little bit more structured. They could have stuck to the time frame because a good game is a fast game.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. So most of us would agree that the Miss Grand International 2021 pageant was 3 out of 4 voted for Miss Grand International as the best.
And as opposed to vote for
as opposed to
Grand, it's
Supra,
just that.
you voted for Supra. Okay. What is the worst, do you think? Worst production? I think for me, the worst production is Miss Intercontinental. Only because there's a lot of confusion going on stage. Some of the girls kept bumping each other. They didn't know exactly where to go. The lighting was horrible. I mean, the venue was amazing. The beautiful historic ancient ruins, Roman ruins in Egypt. But the whole thing was just a total mess. It was one of the worst productions I've seen of Intercontinental,
And I
really
loved it.
Yeah, I really think they
I
didn't
don't
have.
think that-
Maybe they were trying to save some money budget wise. I really don't know, but it was horrible. So that's all I can say. Everybody agrees. Let me see. Let's read some of the comments. Ashu says the giant hole of the audience in Miss Universe in the middle of the stage was a mess. Yeah, we agree.
There you go. Yes.
It's like very annoying because I bet you that hole probably costs. It's probably one of the most expensive tickets ever, because when you have a seat in that hole in the middle, the camera always looks for you. I mean, you always have a lot of airtime. Remember, that was the case with Brian, our friend Brian. Remember, he was sitting in the middle hole during the preliminaries, and we could see his head in the background. So yeah. All right. Poi Poi says, where the hell is Ko? Okay, Ko just texted me 10 minutes ago and she says she apologizes. She overslept. Okay, she overslept. And she's probably washing her face, taking a shower. I don't know, but I told her, listen, we're going to wait for you. Take your time. So Ko is going to be here, but a little late. Let's see. Rafi says, I have to agree with Hector. No. Hector. Hector's not on our show today. You mean Summer? I have to agree with Summer. I love Miss Supra for its first 7 years.
No, that's me, honey.
Oh, that's you, Peter. Okay. So I have to agree with Peter. I love Miss Supra for its first 7 years since 2017 to now. It became a copycat of Miss World with its girl chat. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's not Hector. It's Peter. Okay. So great. All right. So I think Miss Intercontinental is the worst. I don't know what you guys think about the worst, but to me, Intercontinental is the worst production ever. Moving on to the second category, Best Actress.